Hello, my name's Tahu Matheson. I'm the head of music for Opera Australia. The story of Tannhäuser, a man tethered between two opposing worlds, was a springboard for Wagner's imagination, both musically and philosophically. I would like to take you through some of the complexities and subtleties of both the text and the score. That was an excerpt from Elisabeth's agonizingly beautiful prayer at the beginning of Act 3 of Tannhäuser. She is asking to be released from torment, released from pain, released in fact from the prison of life. She's praying to the Virgin Mary. She's praying to the same deity that Tannhäuser, at the climax of the first scene, invoked in order to be released from his rather different prison, the prison of decadence and opulence. But let's return to this for a second. This rather twisting and chromatic passage of soul-searching is because of these words. Whenever a sinful longing, a worldly yearning grew within me, I wrestled, though under 1,000 pains, to kill it in my heart. And here we have the romantic dilemma, that dichotomy immanent in all human beings between the sacred and the profane, the sensual and the spiritual. What Baudelaire, that great evangelist for Tannhäuser, called the inherent antithetical motivations towards salvation and damnation. And it's here that the Romantics wanted to look for a new type of underlying archetypal truth. Something that's underneath the surface, something subconscious, something unconscious. Wagner put it very clearly. The purpose of art is to make the unconscious conscious. Where do we find this unconscious? Well, the Romantics thought the myths, the legends, even the great religions. These great stories had evolved unconsciously through the generations from entire peoples, entire civilizations. So it's here that we find a kind of a universal human truth. Wagner, as we know, became more and more myth-obsessed as he went through his career. But in Tannhäuser, we're still in a kind of a hybrid world. The Wartburg, where it's set, is real. Tannhäuser, Elisabeth, Wolfram, some of the Minnesänger are all real historical people. But the crux of the story centers around Venus and the Venusberg, a kind of paradise of everlasting intoxication. Tannhäuser has succumbed to its and her charms. And when he comes back to the real world, the way he, having been irrevocably changed and transformed by his time in that place, interacts with the world is the dynamo that drives this story to its conclusion. Wagner, using these mythic tropes, digs into the psychological intricacies of his characters. He does this using the text, but more and more, he does it using the music. Wagner says at the end of opera and drama, the orchestra indisputably possesses a faculty of speech, but a faculty that has the ability to utter the unutterable. The first music we hear is this. Simple, at least on the surface, chorale-like, but deeply expressive and redolent with spiritual meaning. But how does he do it? The melody is just kind of an arpeggio. It sounds a bit like something we know. He could have harmonized it like this. Fine, okay, bland, uninteresting, very dull pilgrims. So what does he do? Well, he takes the first chord, he stretches it, makes it unstable, and doesn't resolve, brings in an unexpected chord, then focuses again on the unstable chord, so that when we get to that suspension in the fourth bar, it feels like incredible relief and release. So in those first 4 bars, he sets up the parameters of the piece. Simple, but unconventional. Comprehensible, but complex. 12 bars later or so, we reach a cadence that for all the world feels like we're going to return to the first theme. It would be perfectly natural, but he doesn't. We reach the cadence, and a new theme appears, a kind of downwards yearning theme that drags us upwards through the keys. And again, expand it, resolve it. Now go back to the beginning. Not on your life. Higher. Expand it again. And reach a climax. And return home. here's the theme. Oh, it's coming. So power, pathos, and supreme emotional expressivity. Whatever are these pilgrims up to? Well, before you think your untoward thoughts, and I know you wouldn't, the pilgrims are returning, and the sinner has been saved. And therefore, we are all capable of salvation. But what about that other side? The sensuous, the hedonistic, the bit that's so important to Tannhäuser. Well, for that, we need this. Shifting harmonies, suspensions, resolutions that aren't really there. Complexities that seem to lead to another resolution. But is it a resolution? And we're in the same place. An incredible depiction of constantly evolving pleasure, unsatisfied indulgence, unachievable delight. Erotic passion down to a T. So these two sides of human nature vying with each other. Will one conquer the other? Is one more important than the other? Do they need to be reconciled? Well, the ending is, of course, ambivalent. It has to be. The closest thing to an answer we can find is in that astonishing music. But there, the music hits everybody personally, slightly differently. So in the end, you have to make up your own mind.